Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a rather unusual episode of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. It's been hinted at for a while, but this is the long-awaited cooking episode, where I'm going to go through every one of the circa 92 recipes that there are in the game. So, without further ado, visualizer please, future doctor. So, if I stick to my plan of what I expect to do for this, you'll see a book. On the left-hand side of the book will be me. Hello, look, here I am. And on the right-hand side of the book will be whatever recipe we're working with at the moment, which is currently... ooh, no one knows. So we start off with something very simple with ingredients we already have. We will give Zess T a mushroom, and we'll soften the mushroom with a Mr. Softener. Let's roll. So, that makes a dried shroom. Quite why you would want to do that, because that basically wastes both a mushroom and a Mr. Softener, is unclear. But hey, it's an ingredient, right? The rough ingredient recipe, the rough structure for this episode will be, and this is probably going to be a long episode, I don't know how much I'm going to cut it, because it's all going to be done in a lot of work in post, is basically, firstly I'm going to go through the recipes you need to make, in inverted commas, normal items. So standard items that you can get elsewhere in the game. Then I'll go through the ingredients that you need to make special items, that is, ones that can only be made by cooking. So we're in the normal section at the moment. So, well, we've got a dried shroom, so we might as well use that as an ingredient. And we will combine it with our hot sauce that we got from the business weasel thing from Doing Troubles last episode. And just like that, we get a mushroom. So essentially, dried hot sauce will rehydrate a dried shroom into a regular mushroom. It's worth noting, I did miss it at the time, but I will have put it on the visualizer. But yeah, the Mr. Softener thing for making a dried shroom will work with any of the standard kind of healing mushrooms. So be that a mushroom, a life shroom, a super shroom, or an ultra shroom, any of them can be dehydrated with a Mr. Softener to make a dried shroom. And likewise, hot sauce will bring it back. This same recipe also works with a power punch or a peachy peach. A lot of P's in that sentence. Put my pop filter to the test. A peachy peach is an item we've not come across yet. You get it by, you go to the inn in Twilight Town and you stay the night. When you wake up, there will be a peachy peach on your nightstand. Kind of dodgy, I know. But, nice little thing we can do here. We've got a mushroom, and we've also, so give me a mushroom, and we've also got a Thunder Rage. If you combine electricity and a mushroom, what do you think happens? So, she seemed surprised by that. I didn't actually read out her text, but it was something about, whoa, I'm surprised, because I thought it might have fucked up, but it didn't. I've done good research on this thing, so it shouldn't fuck up, but I was surprised nonetheless. You get a Volt Shroom, unsurprisingly, by combining Thunder Rage and a Mushroom, so that electrifies you to direct contact attackers, as we already know. Now, we need to take a brief break, as I will be doing multiple times throughout this episode, or maybe even 2 episodes, depends how long it is, I might split it, to buy some ingredients. As you can see, we've got this whole screen, and we've actually got now, thanks to our strange sack we got last episode, we've got another page of items that we can hold, which is really nice. So I'm going to head on the long trek to Gladesville. So, here to the left, we've actually not been here before, I remember correctly. This is the Souvenir Shop, which is essentially the shop of Gladesville, which sells a couple of items we want. It sells a Super Shroom, and it sells a point swap. This is the only shop, it's worth knowing, you can buy a point swap for 5 coins, which usually swaps HP and FP, but while cooking has an extremely unusual but understandable result. If we head back to Zess T's, so the point swap has the interesting effect of reversing the effect of any, well not any, but many items. So, if we give her a point swap, and we give her, let's say, a fire flower, then the result is... whoa, that's all I can say. I'm not sure why, but this came out, whoa. Go on, take it, Stompy. You get an ice storm. So as I say, point swaps reverse the effect of something. So a fire flower makes an ice storm. Likewise, if we cooked, this is a reversible reaction in that if we cooked an ice storm with a point swap, we get a fire flower out. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these as in showing them, but I will talk through all of them. There are a lot of things you can do with a point swap, and I will put them on the visualizer as I mention them. The first ones I'm going to discuss are reversible, as in you can combine there are 2 ingredients, you combine either one with a point swap and you'll get the other. For example, if you take a booze sheet and combine it with a point swap, you will get out a repel cape, and vice versa. A courage shell will swap to a Mr. Softener. An earthquake will swap with a thunderbolt. A jammin' jelly will swap with an ultra shroom. A thunder rage will swap with a shooting star. A spite pouch will swap with a ruin powder. A power punch will swap with a mini Mr. Mini. And a maple syrup will swap with a super shroom. Most of those are the direct opposite effect, as in Jammin' Jelly heals 50 flower points, Ultra Shroom heals 50 hit points. So that's a handy thing, and often you do end up with point swaps, and they're not a particularly useful item. This is probably honestly the best use for them in the game. There's 3 recipes with a point swap which are non-reversible. There is, if you combine either a gradual syrup or a mushroom with a point swap, you will get a honey syrup out. This is a weird one. If you combine a tasty tonic with a point swap, you will get a sleepy sheep. Apparently tonic is the opposite of sleepy sheep. And finally, and this one just baffles me, if you combine a gold bar times 3, which is a specific item, with a point swap, you'll get a gold bar. So if you want to deprecate the value of your gold by a third, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, not the most useful. Anyway, that's point swaps. Quite handy. Now we get on to new and exciting recipes. So, we will start by literally just giving her a dried shroom. Only this, and nothing more. Except I said that. Just cook that, thank you. So, cooking up a dried shroom yields a shroom fry, which is a nice little thing. He'll replenish 6 HP and 2 FP, which is way better than just the 1 HP that a dried shroom gets. That actually just means a dried shroom is just better than a mushroom as you cook it. Very handy. The shroom fry is one of 3 recipes which I have dubbed the shroom treats. That's not correct, which I've dubbed the... I don't actually have a name for them. Shroom meals, I suppose, would be a good one. So the second of the shroom, they kind of increase in power as they go along, but they also increase in ingredient requirements. If we combine a Volt Shroom with a Super Shroom... She laughed, she went, heh. I don't think she always does that. Then we get out a Shroom Roast, which heals 15 HP and 5 flower points. Very handy. The top level of the Shroom meals is got... Well, there are a number of ways to get all of these, which I'll talk through in a second, but you need to combine some fairly high level items here. We need to combine a Super Shroom with a Life Shroom. And that gets us a Shroom Steak, which heals a stunning 30 hit points and 10 flower points. Very handy items these are, and you can just basically combine mushrooms to get them. How do they work? Well, on the right, I'm going to put up an extremely simple, in inverted commas, diagram which shows this. So, don't be phased. There's 2 basic principles to it, which are very nice. A line connecting any 2 items means they can be cooked together to make a 3rd item. The coloured lines mean those 2 items will combine to make a thing, and a coloured ring means that item alone will make that thing, and the colour coding is as such. A red line or a red ring makes shroom fry, blue line or ring makes a shroom roast, and green makes a shroom steak. So, while there are a lot of 2-item combinations there are also a lot of 1-item combinations of basically the cheap mushrooms, so Volt, Super, Poison, Mushroom, and Dried will make a shroom fry alone. Mid mushrooms, so Slow and Life, will make a shroom roast alone, and the Ultra Shroom will make a shroom steak alone. Other than that, generally combining high-level mushrooms will make a steak, mid-level will roast, and low-level a fry. But there's the graph in case you needed it. Very nice and handy. Can you tell that I love data science? It's almost like it's my job. Anyway, I've fallen asleep. That is the shroom meals, that's what I called them. Next, we go on to the shroom treats. Now, I'm not going to show any of these combinations off purely because I have already shown them in previous episodes. I believe that's how I got this Jelly Ultra here. And these are nice simple ones, but once again, I will put up another graph. Now in this one, there's 2 things going on. I've used both colour and line type. The colour corresponds to its HP healing power as the output item, and the input is therefore which mushroom you use. So red means shroom, so be that what, mushroom or Volt Shroom or something like that, I think. Mushroom, Volt Shroom or Slow Shroom. The green means it's super tier, which is the Life Shroom or the Super Shroom. And green means it's ultra tier, so Ultra Shroom. This is like the last graph. The line type talks about flower point power, the kind of the sweet level of it. So a solid line is honey. A dotted line is maple, so it's 10. Honey is 5 flower points. Maple is 10 flower points, and dashed, the kind of little dashes, is jelly, which is 50 flower points. That seems complicated, but these are essentially linear combinations of the things. So if you combine a mushroom, which heals 5, with a jam and jelly, which heals 50 flower points, then you will get out a jelly shroom, which... Is that a thing? Jelly shroom? I don't know. Yeah, jelly shroom, which will heal 5 flower points and 5 HP and 50 FP. So basically, combine a healing item that's a mushroom and a sweet flower point healing thing, and you will get a direct combination of them. You just smush them into 2 items, which can be handy even just for basically reducing inventory space. Is the only real point of it. You don't get any bonus extra effects, but you just get to reduce it down that way, which is nice. Now, we need to go and get some ingredients. The next section I'm going to talk about will be about pastas and salads. All very exciting stuff, I know. Do you sell anything exciting at the moment, Charlton? Have you got the badge I'm looking for? You have the W emblem. Oh, I want it, but I'm not going to buy it because I've not got enough money to then buy all the various ingredients I need. But when you consider what the L emblem did, have a think about what the W emblem did. First things first, we're going to head to Petalburg. So when I said Petalburg, I actually meant the Petal Meadows, because I believe the thing we're looking for is actually closer to this end than it is to Petalburg itself. What we're looking for is... You see these fuckers? Oh, I forgot to start making weird noises. These fuckers, I can't quite hit them, but they're called... Oh, shit, I don't have my first attack on because I was in the Pit of 100 Trials until recently. Let's sort that out. That's a weird noise, isn't it? So, I put the first attack back on, and in an interesting move, I've put Jump Man on. Increase your jump ability by 1, but lose your hammer ability. This is a calculated risk, but I realised relatively recently, I don't use hammer. With the spike shield, I jump on everyone, and my jumps are more powerful. So, it's not really a thing, so I think having the extra power to my jump might actually be worthwhile in the long run. Anyway, what I'm looking for is one of these candy pops. You will know it, because it... There we go. Bobs in when you hit it. Hit it repeatedly. 10 times, specifically. And you get a horsetail. A plant found in Petal Meadows. Replenishes 3 HP. That's a hard one to know where it is without knowing, actually doesn't actively knowing. Otherwise, you wouldn't just come across that naturally. Anyway, I've gone to an annoying fight here. But when I'm done... Oh, they've got a dried shroom and everything. And the crowd's trying to use a sleepy sheep on me. We're going to head to Petalburg. So here we want to come up to Kroop's house and pick up a turtley leaf, which is from there. Can I get multiple at a time from here, or do I have to come back again? Do any certain ones of these give me turtley leaves? Yeah. Oh well. So that's some of the ingredients I wanted to gather. Now we have this handy blue pipe here, and we need to go to Poshley Heights. Oh, look at that transition, I'm so smooth. I made it seem like the pipes were connected. I'm really very clever. So, we need to spend a lot of money in Poshley Heights, because shit's expensive here, because we're in the Posh place, which should have been obvious by the name Poshley Heights, but hey. Over here, next to this fountain, is this little thing, which sells for the whopping price of 50 coins. Sells us high quality fresh pasta. For only one package costs 50 coins, how about it? Not only am I going to buy one, I'm going to be a complete sucker. Oh, and I'm going to fucking butt stomp in front of that thing. I'm going to buy 3. This is necessary. Having done so, let's head back to Zess T's. Now, the first thing we want to do is take... we're going to ignore that fresh pasta for now, and we're going to combine our turtley leaf with our horsetail. So that yields a lovely healthy salad, which replenishes 15 FP and cures poisoning. I believe I've shown that off before. I can't remember what recipe I used for it, but I certainly did. Next, we're going to take one of the fresh pastas and just cook it as is. Just apparently cooking pasta works, despite the fact that pasta is already cooked, but hey. And that makes us a spaghetti, which, so a fresh pasta alone, I don't even think it does anything. I'm not sure you can actually eat it. But when you cook it, it heals 6 HP and 4 FP. So surely it's got to do less than that as its own item. Let's check. Fresh pasta. 10 and 5. and spaghetti makes 6 and 4. So that's completely pointless. If you've got fresh pasta, fucking hold on to it, because spaghetti is pointless. Worth noting, for our final ingredient involving fresh pasta, for now, we need to make another trip back to Petalburg and collect another turtley leaf, because apparently you can't pick up multiple at the same time. Ridiculous, I know. Bevies. Bevies. Oh, dear me. Too busy opening a bevy to pay attention to where I'm going. And so, if we combine this second turtley leaf with some fresh pasta, we get one of my favourite item names in the game. We get the Coup Pasta, which heals 7 HP and 7 FP, which I believe is still worse than just the fresh pasta alone does. Coup Pasta does 7 and 7, fresh pasta does... Oh, so just slightly more FP, but at the cost of slightly less HP. In reality, for the cost, fresh pasta's really good, combining with something tends to gimp it in some way, but hey. Now, we're gonna buy some ingredients as we move on to a new section, which, in my notes, I've entitled Spice and Ink. Sounds very dodgy, doesn't it? Let's head to Gladesville. So, after completing the businessman's trouble in the last episode, I've remembered the name of the species. They're called Ratouilles. If we speak to him, he will sell us hot sauce for 10 coins a pop. So I'm going to buy 2 batches of hot sauce. Then, while I'm here, I'm also just going to quickly... Is that a normal sound effect for that? It's the hammer. I guess we haven't heard it since we've got the Ultra Hammer. I'm also going to buy 2 point swaps, because as I say, this is the only place in the whole game you can buy them, which is very handy. With these in hand, let's head back to Zess T. We can combine, and this is a nice straightforward one, our hot sauce, one of our hot sauces, with some fresh pasta to make... Ooh, that's a fancy new effect. This makes spicy pasta, which replenishes 10 HP and 10 FP, so that's technically better than fresh pasta. Whether those extra 5 flour points are worth making a trip all the way up to Gladesville 10 coins or not is entirely down to you, but hey, it's an option. Now, if you remember, I called this section Spice and Ink. So, ink comes from, if we combine hot sauce with a previously purchased tasty tonic. Oh, it's doing the shiny thing again. This makes us Inky Sauce, which on its own replenishes 30 flour points, which is really impressive, actually. So you only need to... Wow, I suppose for that... Yeah, like, hot sauce only costs 10 coins from Gladesville, granted. Hot sauce, even. Tasty Tonic only costs 3 coins from Rogueport. So actually, that's a bloody effective deal, as long as you'll be asked to trek to Gladesville. Worthwhile. We've got the Inky Sauce, so we can combine that with our Coup Pasta that we made earlier. Look at this, I planned this. So you wonder why I planned this meticulously. This episode, I wasn't kidding when I said this is going to be like 2 weeks in the making. Like, granted, I was in Ireland, and then I had the lads down for recording, as in the Dragon, and Sprite, and Boy, we were all doing some recording, which will have started to air now. The Kirby we recorded has aired. We've also recorded another 2 series, which haven't started airing yet. But that was why it took me so long to come out with this. But either way, we now get Ink Pasta, which replenishes 10 HP and 30 FP. That's really a very powerful item for how little it costs. Well, I mean, the Coup Pasta is not cheap because you've got to pay 50 coins for the pasta and then combine it with a turtley leaf, so it's a bit of a trek to get it. The ink sauce alone is probably better than the ink pasta, but it's still handy to have. So that concludes our spice and ink section. Now, I've given all these sections names, it's great. We now get on to the Zess section. Because there are 3 Zess items, which are her own little things, and a lot of items make these. There are 3 levels, there's the Zest Dinner, Zest Special, and Zest Deluxe. We're going to start off with the Zest Dinner, so how I'm going to make it is with a healthy salad, and a shroom fry that I made earlier. Oh my god, my planning is so good, I'm so good. That was a bit big-headed, wasn't it? So, the Zest Dinner restores 10 HP and 10 FP. That's relatively straightforward. I think the Healthy Salad and the Shroom Fry alone were actually... If you took each one of them alone, they'd probably be combined better than that. But, hey, it's a one-use item in combat, which is a little faster. Now, if I bring up the graph, you'll see there are 3 kind of clusters which form a Zest dinner. On this graph, any 2 items that are linked by a line, combine those items and you'll make a Zest dinner, and they come in kind of 3 clusters. Generally, it seems to be like, well, on one of the clusters, definitely, it's kind of combines some kind of meat and some kind of salad. Meat being mushrooms in this case, because, you know, it's Mario. But generally, there's a weird one. What's the one that's like snow bunny and spicy soup or something weird like that? The 3rd cluster at the bottom. I can't remember exactly. I'm not looking at these graphs now. I'm just going to... Actually, I haven't even made them yet. I'm just going to put them in there later. So that's a Zest dinner. The Zest Special is a similar kind of thing. There's a lot of combinations that make it. My combination will be the just made ink pasta and the earlier made shroom roast. While this is making, I will put up on the right, once again, the clusters of combinations which make the Zest Special. Oh. Well, my notes are wrong, it appears, then. Shit, son. Zest Special. Ink pasta. And... oh, I need a healthy salad, not a shroom roast. Oh my goodness, I read that completely wrong. Wow! You know, this is an important lesson to learn, ladies and gentlemen. Let's eat this mistake. Which is that all the planning in the world still means you are not impervious. So, let's go and sort that out. So I'm going to buy a couple of things to help correct that mistake. We're going to buy a Super Shroom from here in Westside Goods. Is there also... that's a Thunderbolt, we need a Thunder Rage. Next things on, let's head to Posh Heights. And here we're going to buy, once again, another unit of fresh pasta. Jesus, that stuff's expensive. Well, you know, we won't be in this situation if I hadn't got my notes wrong. You can make... absolutely, if you're looking at the graph on the right, you can see you can make a Zest Special from ink pasta and a healthy salad, or from a shroom roast, also with a healthy salad, but those 2 ingredients alone do not work. I must have just misread my notes. What a fool. Next, we need to head over to Keelhall Quay, where we need to do 2 things. We've got to buy an item, and we've got to find an item. We need to buy... oh no, we don't! I came here to buy an Ice Storm, but we already have one from early! My goodness, is that not handy? But there is a very unique item in Keelhall Quay, and I specify very unique because there's a limited number in the entire game. You get them all from here, but there's a finite number you can have. And it's really weird. I think this is a reference to Paper Mario 1, which I haven't played. These creatures are characters and that, but if we come all the way up to the left here, we find this fucker. Wahoo! I'm a whacker! We got some good weather today, right? Right? Makes me feel like nothing bad could happen on a day like today. Wackadoo! This is a whacker. What is one to do with a whacker but whack it? Ow! Whack ow! Don't hit me. And he drops a whacker bump. A lump of something. That's grim. That replenishes 25 HP and 25 FP, which is really nice. Were we to leave the screen and come back again, I believe you can hit him again, but only a finite number of times in the game. Is it 10? I'll put on the screen if I remember what they do, but they are a very finite and limited thing. It's not just one, but I think it's not significantly more than one. Either way, we now need to head to Twilight Town. So, here at the shop, we need to grab a Thunder Rage. This is, I believe, the only place that sells them. And now we need to head up to Creepy Steeple itself. And here we need to grab a Golden Leaf. I would love to say this is the last time we're going to be doing that this episode, but it isn't. I'm just going to quickly test to make sure you can't collect multiple at a time. I have a feeling you can't, but hey, you know, can't hurt. Oh my god, this changes everything! Holy shit, you can! That's very handy. And this is why I have the Strange Sack, because now I'm holding currently a lot of items. I've got a whole one screen and somewhat of a second screen, which is nice. That does speed stuff up later. Brilliant. Let's head back to Zess. Oh! I wasn't really expecting this to happen this episode, but, you know, I leveled up. I got ambushed by a Koopa Troll in Rogueport Sewers. So I'll level up my badge points, I suppose, and have a look at what badges I want to put on next. Oh, Mario became an A-list star. Next battle, Mario's crowd and stage became even bigger. This was really not when I was expecting this to come up, but hey, you know what? We'll show it off. What badges can I put on with my extra 3 badge points? Zap Tap's quite handy. Let's see, Power plus P. Defend plus P could also be handy. Why haven't you put Jump and Hammerman on? Do they balance out? Or do they both kick in? As in both mean I can't use my jump hammer. That would be ludicrous. Who knows? I don't want to find out. HP plus could work nice as a pseudo level up. Have I got a power plus P sitting around or not? Lucky start. I've got a HP plus P, which isn't amazingly helpful. I think my only power plus P I've actually already got equipped. So that's worth knowing. I guess for now, have I got an FP plus? Yeah, I've got an FP plus. I'll put that on for now to bring me up to 30. Power plus P would be really handy, but I don't think I've got a spare one floating. So, my crowd is now bigger. My crowd is now up to 150. Oh, this guy's going time 1. Brilliant. And that's going to get me a Thunder Rage like the one I just bought, but hey, you never know. So, my crowd is currently at 96, but can hold as many as 150. You notice my stage is fancy. It now has even more effects, like the fog and the freezy gas and stuff like that. Even more random shit that can go on, which we'll see over the coming episodes. But hey, other than that, now we can actually head back to Zess T. Oh, I didn't get the Thunder Rage in the end anyway. And this time we're going to attempt to make the Zest Special properly. So we're going to use a Super Shroom alongside, I believe, some fresh pasta. You can check on the visualizer on the right to make sure it's okay, but we'll do it. Oh, that looks like a good sign, seeing the glowy glowy. So that gives us the Zest Special, which restores 20 HP and 20 FP, which is quite nice. Finally, we can combine some super rare ingredients in the Zest Deluxe. There are 3 combinations of this. The Ultra Shroom and the fresh pasta, the Shroom Steak and a healthy salad, and a Whacker Bump and a Golden Leaf. We're going to give that third option, so we're going to give her a Whacker Bump, which heals 25 HP and 25 flower points, plus a Golden Leaf, which replenishes 10 flower points. So, our benchmark for this is 25 flower points, 25 hit points, and 35 flower points. It has to be better than that to actually be worthwhile. So, with that in mind, this heals 40 and 40, which is way better than that, which is nice. Except for the fact that most of the ingredients that make it actually make better stuff. We've got an Ultra Shroom here as well to make a Jelly Ultra. We've got a Shroom Steak. I don't know. It's not perfect, but the cooking system is like that in this. There's a lot of redundancy in it. But hey, we'll go from that while we're here as well. I say while we're here the whole episode. But we need to do a brief interlude one. If I combine, I've talked about this recipe earlier, but if I combine a Thunder Rage with a point swap, then it makes a Shooting Star, which drops stars on all enemies and confuses them. We have seen this effect already, but it was part of a mystery in like episode 7. It was when we were in a Schwonk Fortress, so it was a long time ago. That's handy. That's not what I wanted to really show off. Oop, dear me. What I wanted to show off is when we combine a Shooting Star, which drops stars on enemies and confuses them, with a Shroom Steak, which is a powerful healing item. So that makes us a Meteor Meal, and we have seen this already. We got it as a reward for a trouble the episode before last. Or was it last episode? Not sure. There's been a long episode already what I've been recording for. Currently, 1 hour and 3 minutes. So yeah, a lot of cutting. So the Meteor Meal restores 7 HP and gradually recovers more. I didn't actually use it in combat last time, but we still got it now, which is nice. Very handy. Now, the next one we're going to cook is a really weird one, because there's a load of different recipes for making it, and a lot of them are really redundant, as in there's a load of one items you can cook to make it, and there are combinations, but the combinations usually just make it way more expensive than the actual item itself. I bought a fire flower, as you can see, which is, I was going to say, the principal ingredient in it, but it's actually the only ingredient in this next one. We can combine fire flowers with things to make it, we can also just cook a fire flower on its own. It's really odd. But we'll do it in the most simplest way possible. Most simplest good one, which is we cook a fire flower up. Oh shit, no. Fire flower and Meteor Meal. No. Don't do that at all. So, that makes a spicy soup. What's weird about spicy soup is there are a number of single ingredient and multiple ingredient combinations for it. The multiple ingredient combinations that make a spicy soup are completely pointless. So the single ingredients, as you will see on the right, are a fire flower, a dried bouquet, a horsetail, or a snow bunny. I'm going to get to snow bunny in a second. You can also combine a fire flower with hot sauce, or combine a fire flower with a dried bouquet. Both of these recipes are pointless, because the fire flower alone will make them. The fire flower dried bouquet one is extremely pointless, because both of those ingredients, taken in isolation, would make spicy soup. So, I don't know, maybe it's just an effort if people want to discover it manually. But either way, the one I mentioned there, which we aren't particularly familiar with, is a snow bunny. Fortunately, we have the ingredients we need. to make a snow bunny, which is an ice storm, which we got from reversing a firefly so long ago, and our second golden leaf. Now, this is actually the only way to make a snow bunny, which is a Zest dessert, and this is an interesting one, which heals 50 HP, 15 HP, but then freezes you so you can't move for a turn or two. It just inflicts the frost effect on you. So it can be handy in certain situations. I guess if you're just desperate for healing and you're willing to pay the price for it, but it's a steep-ass price. But we're going to use up our snow bunny right the fuck away. We're going to combine it with our spicy soup. Snow bunny and a spicy soup. This is a strange recipe because the output doesn't seem anything like the input. So, this makes a couple's cake, which slowly refills HP, but you can't eat it alone. We also got this as part of a trouble last episode from that creepy, rapey Goomba. So the deal with the couple's cake is, yeah, we can't eat it on the menu because you can't eat it alone. It has to be shared between you and your partner, so you can only eat it in combat, and then it heals both of you over time, which is very handy. Now, time for another shopping run. First things first, I'm going to head down into the sewers to the shop there. And I'm going to buy a slow shroom, which is nice. Worth knowing how down here, this is one of the, I believe, the only place you can buy just an ultra shroom and a jam and jelly. Both are very expensive, though we can't afford either. Next, let's head to the Great Tree. And here we need to play a quick round of Stomp Patchouli. If you remember, there's only one answer which works for this, which is Mario likes which person the most, which yields for us a handy little egg. Now, here's an important thing. Can we do that twice? If I leave and then re-enter, does she let us play again? Or do I have to come back here again in a bit? Oh, she's still saying please play again sometimes. So we can only have one Mystic Egg in our inventory at a time, which is slightly infuriating. Let's head back to Zess T. Now, it occurs to me at this point that this, what I've recorded so far, will probably amount to nearly 20 minutes, if not more already, so I will probably at this point, I've made the executive decision to split the cooking episode into two. So, we're going to combine a couple of things here. Firstly, we've got our slow shroom, which we're going to combine with a point swap. So, if a slow shroom slowly heals HP, what will it do when we point swap it? Indeed, it makes a poison shroom. Eat it and it'll poison you. This is the only known way to make a poison shroom. You can't get them in the game, you just make them this way. And yeah, it poisoned you. Hasn't even got a face like all the other friendly mushrooms. So that's weird. But there are purposes of poison shrooms. They're not just for death. They can also be very handy in cooking in very specific ways. If we combine the poison shroom we just made with our couple's cake, we make a very interesting meal. Here we make the Trial Stew. Amazing food made by Zess T. Yields incredible results. But what does that mean? I would love to take this into combat and show it off, but I don't want to. It will... So, the poison shroom effect kicks in first. It will reduce you to 1 HP, you and your partner, and 0 flower points, which is obviously bad. But the converse is it will absolutely max out your star power, and mean that for the next couple of turns you will regain star power at triple the rate for stylish stuff. This is special because this is the only item in the game that's capable of restoring star points, star power. But it comes at a hell of a cost. Is it worth using? Who knows? It's a whole thing. I'll hang on to it, I guess. Final thing, we got the Mystic Egg. Well, let's just fire up our own. Unsurprisingly, if you fry an Mystic Egg, you get a fried egg, which replenishes 10 hit points, which is nice enough, I guess. The Mystic Egg alone does 5, so there you go. So, we've made some gobs. We got a Zest Deluxe, Zest Dinner, Zest Special, Meteor Meal, Fried Egg, Trial Stew, Super Shroom, and well, we already had the Jelly Ultra, but hey, that's some useful stuff. Next episode, we'll be continuing on with cooking, and we'll be going into the kind of... We've been doing a lot of savoury stuff this episode. Next episode will be sweet. It will be cakes, it will be lollipops. What else have we got on the list? Cakes, lollipops, puddings, tarts, tea, broth, juice, candy, bombs. Oh yes, bombs. It all gets very exciting. So I hope you'll join me next time for some more cooking in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Thank you very much and good day.